Well, it is Friday night. Let's see. We got SP3. We got Dutch Mantell. We got myself, Rick Ucchino. That must mean it is time for Smack Talk here at 11:05-ish Eastern Standard Time. Appreciate everybody who is already in the chat. What is going on, guys? You ready to talk about this awesome 3 hours of wrestling we watched tonight there, Dutch?
Oh, boy. I can't wait to talk about it. So
I know. Sorry, I already messed up. I already botched. Mr. Dutch Mantell. Excuse me. I have to announce you by your proper name. Did you submit your application for Maximum Male Models? I was expecting to see you in your best tennis collection outfit tonight, and I did not see you. I was very disappointed by that.
I did submit it, though, and I haven't heard a word.
Yeah, I don't think they're actually looking at those things, but, it never hurts to try, right, SP3?
So we're not going to start off by talking about those guys, are we?
We're not going to start off talking about them, but we will talk about them at some point.
But we have to. We have to start off the hot and heavy with Maximum Male Models because they are the hottest act on SmackDown. And the newest client of Maximum Male Models is going to be Mr. Dutch Mantell.
That's it.
Because he has been officially submitted on MaximumMaleModels.com.
I appreciate it.
Look at this beautiful headshot. Look at this beautiful headshot. Look at this beautiful man.
Hey,
this
look at that.
Beautiful man.
There you go.
Dutch Mantell.
Well, I didn't like him before you showed that. Now I'm kind of liking him a little more. But I have come up for a cure for insomnia. But Maximum Male Models on TV, and so you got to go. That's just market it, put it in a bottle, take it down to the drugstore, sell it all day long. Maybe the next drug that takes off.
I said last week this would have a very short shelf life if all they're going to do is the runway stuff. Last week, it was funny. This week, it's like, all right, I'm already like, can we get to whatever the next thing is going to be with them? Dutch, you said it in our chat earlier. There's got to be an angle with these guys very, very sooner rather than later.
Sooner, I think it's gone anyway. I think they've already dug the hole, and I think Vince is up there just throwing dirt down on them. They're down there digging a hole, and he's throwing their dirt back down on top of them. It's an angle in reverse, really. If it is an angle, I don't know what it is. I was just telling Sid before you abruptly busted in on our conversation.
You mean before I showed up for work?
And a lot of kids in that crowd, and I don't think the kids get it.
I don't think much.
Hell, I don't get it.
Yeah, a lot
of boring. Do you get it? Do you get it?
Chance? What chance? I don't know what this. I mean, seriously, like, okay, they're wrestlers who are doing a fashion show. Is there much more to get than that? I don't know. I don't know what the purpose is. I guess is my thing. SP3, you genuinely liked what you saw at Maximum Male Models last week. How are you feeling now after week 2?
It's basically, it looks like this is going down the same route as Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans, the first week when she came back and she had her inspirational story, we all liked it. The second week, we were like, okay, this is getting somewhere. The third week, we were like, okay, get to the point. So I think that next week for Maximum Male Models will be the point where I'm like, get to the point. But I love the commitment to making this a comedy act. I feel like this is the route to go with this type of gimmick, is to make it a comedy act and go over the top with it. So the tennis collection, I laughed. I laughed at them, focusing on the hamstrings and the verbiage of Max Dupree. It was humorous, but I did at the end of the segment be like, okay, I hope they have a plan here that they're gonna go to soon.
Like somebody and that's the question. Like somebody has to care enough to interrupt these guys. Like somebody has to cause some form of a ruckus, and I don't know who that is, because judging how these guys are acting and judging off the crowd reactions, they're heels. But if you look at, and they're a tag team, right? They're a group. If other than the New Day, which is already in a program right now with the Viking Raiders, or excuse me, the new vicious Viking Raiders, which is just getting browbeat into our damn heads. Like, Jesus. All right, we get it. Who is there? Because we already had 2 tag matches tonight that were heel versus heel. They don't have any baby faces to interrupt Maximum Male Models. So again, I ask, where the hell are we going with this damn thing?
Well, I don't know. But I know if we had done this back in the territory days, they'd have booed those guys. Their heels are right. People would have booed them out. But it's that get away from me heat. It's not heat like you want to see them beat up. You just want to see heat where they just leave. So if you wanted people to turn off their TV, to me, other than the Maximum Male Models, and they don't even look like they'd be a good team together. Do they?
Hard to say.
Mansois is a good worker from what I've seen of him.
That name rhymes with mine, Mansois.
I know Mansois and Mansois. Maybe you two can be a tag team. We got you the in to get back with WWE with Maximum Male Models. Yeah. AEW is doing a match with Claudio and Jake on Wednesday, so we can get you over there.
Yes, all those signs at all one time.
This is what we need. We need Dutch Mantell on AEW on Wednesday, and then Duche Mantois to make his debut on SmackDown on Friday. We're trying to get you 2 paychecks here, Dutch. I did tweet at Tony Khan about getting you on at AEW. He did not respond.
That little bastard. but I want to report some good news. I was appointed commissioner of a new, what is it? What's the name of it? Oh, Fantasy Football League. And I'm going to bring the smoke, buddy. I'm going to be the damnedest commissioner they ever had.
Yes,
you're underneath me, too. You're underneath me, Rick.
The greatest wrestling media fantasy football league. We have the esteemed Dutch Mantell as our commissioner. Yeah, it's only appropriate.
I love how we can't even get 12 teams. As many people that are in wrestling media, and we're struggling to find 12 competitors right now who know a damn thing about football as well.
There's plenty of people that want to join. We're just being very particular on who.
Be very selective.
That's fair.
Be very selective, guys, because I'd hate to fire a bunch of them, get rid of a bunch of them the first week because of bitching and moaning, and that's what they would do. I know them. All right, let's go, Rick.
We got a super chat here from Allison asking, is WWE going to be dead like WCW eventually? They make too much money. They make way too much money to be dead, anytime soon, to be completely honest with you. But, we'll see if there's a change in leadership anytime down the line here and how things progress. But they make way too much
Didn't
money.
They make $1 billion last year?
They are making more money than they have ever made at any point in the history of the company.
Right.
With the worst ratings they've ever had.
Yeah, with Maximum Male Models. So what's that tell you? They don't need wrestling.
SmackDown is still the most watched show in all of professional wrestling. And it's arguably the worst one. I
don't even know if it's arguably at this point.
Well, let's start with the top of the show. It was nice to see Roman Reigns back on TV, even if he didn't do much. The Bloodline still took up the first 20 minutes of the show. You had 8 minutes for the entrance, and then you still had a commercial break, and then we come back, and then it's Roman cutting his normal promo, and then Paul Heyman gets on the mic and cuts a really good promo, but it's more the same of what we've heard. Guys, stop me if you've heard any of this before, because it's just a Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar match buildup. Like, everything was good. It's just, we've seen it before. It's on rinse and repeat at this point.
It's the same thing. I don't have anything to add to it. You covered it all. The only thing that was different was Brock wasn't there. And Heyman cut a hell of a promo. But I did like Theory coming down and running around the ring a little bit. And
I thought they used him effectively tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. And then leaving, which was probably the best part. You know he's going to show up somewhere. Quit blinking light. The light blinks when it's telling me to shut up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's got that algorithm in it. Shut up.
Not just talking too much. All right.
I wish they would have just left it to Theory coming out and running around the ring, because it made absolutely no sense to tease Theory in the entranceway before the commercial. Like, we were supposed to think that he was going to cash in Money in the Bank with the Usos standing right there with Roman. Like, that was supposed to be a hook to bring us back after the first commercial break, was Theories in the entranceway. And then Michael Cole got so excited that he called him Austin Theory. I don't know if anybody else caught that.
Here's the thing. So I've been confused about the whole just calling him Theory thing, because he's still using A-Town Down, and there's no A in his name anymore.
Well, he is from Atlanta, so that's the reason.
All right. Okay. That makes sense, but it's still not common knowledge that people know that he's from Atlanta. I didn't know that, to be completely honest with you. Not like I listened to him when he's introduced anyway, but I did think it was effective for him to come out tonight, and as mostly because of how Roman Reigns sold it. I thought Reigns just was perfect tonight in his reaction to Theory, just kind of just looking at him like, bitch, get the hell away from my ring. Who the hell are you? You ain't cashing that in. What are you doing here? I thought that was the best part, honestly, of the opening segment, because that was really the only thing that was kind of new about all of this. And that's the hook to this, is the fact that they are teasing heavily that Austin Theory is going to be involved in this match at SummerSlam.
Well, when he came out, I'm agreeing with Sid here. He came out, and that gives you sort of, well, he's not that stupid. It doesn't even make sense.
Well, if you watched him in NXT, yes, he was that stupid.
I guess you thought I was finished, Rick. I was still talking, and you run right on top of me.
Here, I'll mute myself.
I'm going to have to – you're going to do what? Mute your mic? No, don't do that. No, but I'm thinking, you said, who did it hook? It hooked me. I says, because WWE, you don't know what they're going to do. They could have run him in. Hell, they could have beat him up and killed him off. But he lay off. That's a good thing. But I didn't know what they were going to do. But I did stay and watch it, saying, is he going to come in? Or is he going to come in somewhere during the night? So.
I mean, it would have made sense, too, because you don't know when Roman Reigns is going to be back on the show. So it would have been smart to actually cash in when you see it. As soon as you see him, cash in, because you don't know the next time you're going to see him. Next time you're going to see him, for sure is SummerSlam, because we don't know for sure even the go home show if he's going to show up there. But yeah, I mean, I can understand if some people were hooked by that. I just didn't understand how that made any type of sense. And don't worry, when we talk about Shanky, Ozzy, I will do the Shanky dance.
Well, let's talk about the new vicious Viking Raiders. Guys, did you know that they are both new and vicious, the Viking Raiders? I just want to stress that they are new.
I didn't know that.
Did you miss the fact that they're new and vicious, the Viking Raiders? Yes.
I did miss that they're new. I know they're vicious.
Yes. They're new and vicious Viking Raiders. They squashed the hell out of Jinder and Shanky. This was the first of two heel tag team matches tonight. Heel versus heel tag team matches. I did love the New Day coming out. I did love the New Day talking all that smack. Xavier Woods is one of my favorite dudes to listen to on a microphone. He will forever be my king, always, even though they unjustly took that crown away from him for no damn reason. But SP3, the second that they finished talking all that smack and hand down ass whooping tickets, they slide into the ring and they got their ass whooped again.
Well, they had a ticket for it, so they didn't lose it. So they didn't say who's ass kicking. They said ass kicking ticket.
Somebody got their ass
whooped. They must have meant their own, because they talked a lot of trash to get their ass beat again.
And I'm saying, if you're going to talk that much trash, then you get in there and you get destroyed. I think it helped the Raiders a little bit, but I don't think it helped.
Yeah,
I don't think it helped New Day.
No, like
it wasn't supposed to help them, but I think they killed it worse.
Yeah, I think they realized that that the New Day is so Teflon that there's nothing they can do to destroy them so they can do stuff like that, but it didn't make them really look like baby faces exactly to me. You talk all that mess and then you don't even get a bit of offense. Like, it was literally like they got in the ring and then got destroyed almost immediately.
Oh, it was embarrassing, really. If I went out there and said, yeah, I got an ass kicking deal, got a ticket, you just get the crap beat out of you and you're laying there. If I was the Viking Raiders, I'd have picked up the ticket and I said, oh, this is for you. And I threw it down on him. But they're not supposed to be that smart, so I don't get it.
Hey, but they are both new and vicious. I just want to really want to drive that point home, because I don't think commentary did a good enough job tonight describing them as both new and vicious. I did like
let me ask you a question.
Yes.
When was that? Where was that picture, or when was it taken of Pat when he was at the UFC fight and he had that neck brace on?
About an hour after Money in the Bank ended.
But he didn't have it on tonight.
Well, he wasn't there tonight. He was.
I know,
golfing.
but where did I say when he got beat up? I see now. I got it. I got it confused. But he is at least selling it.
Oh yeah, no, I thought that was brilliant. Yeah. Although WWE kind of screwed themselves up tonight by saying that he wasn't there because of the attack, and then they said, "Oh well, he's golfing today," so they were concerned about him getting attacked again. I don't know. I think they kind of confused themselves on what they were talking about with why Pat McAfee wasn't there tonight. It's like somebody must have said something in their headsets like, "Hey, y'all know he was like all over social media today playing golf. Maybe you guys might not want to say he's selling his injury." But regardless, we did get to see Baron Corbin on commentary tonight. I know that guy made you guys happy. During a Gunther segment, I loved the idea of him coming out for an open challenge and then saying, why the hell would I do this? Only, dumb people would accept a challenge, this, that, and the other thing. And they set up Nakamura versus Ludwig. And I thought that a fresh matchup. I will take a fresh matchup any day of the week. And I will also take it when WWE remembers they have Shinsuke Nakamura and they can use him effectively. And he would make an excellent challenger for Gunther. But I will say both Corbin and Graves trying to imitate Pat McAfee when Shinsuke Nakamura's music hit, that did make me chuckle a little bit tonight, even though Corbin was kind of insufferable actually doing the commentary.
Sid, what do you think? Because I'm thinking the same. What Rick said covered it for me.
I mean,
I kind of hated that segment.
I thought Corbin and Graves doing the Pat McAfee was outstanding. I think that was the best thing about this segment. The match was kind of just there. It was for Nakamura to get a win and to see if he can, eventually probably verse Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. I wouldn't mind that going down at SummerSlam. And I like Gunther chopping the crap out of Ludwig after the match because it didn't come off like he was turning on him. Ludwig didn't come off like a babyface. It literally, he's a cold-hearted bastard. He basically is just mad that someone lost. He doesn't accept losing, and that's why he had to chop the crap out of his friend.
Well, he chopped the crap out of him, and I do like the way the kid sold it because he didn't take the first two chops. You could tell it hurt. Even you can't work those chops. And that Gunther's a big guy, so he lit him up, buddy. He was throwing from way downtown, coming with you got big hands anyway, so it hurts like hell.
He doesn't have hands; he's got mitts.
Oh,
that's what he has. He's got big, beefy mitts.
And it was evident it was punishment for losing. So that was now, if they'll keep that in mind and not wear it out,
right?
They got something with it. Now, if they don't go back and him do it next week because you can't beat up your own manager every week because then he's got to turn. And I don't think there's anywhere to go right now at all because the manager's kind of getting over with Gunther. But if they take them apart, they're going to have a hard time with it.
Okay, this is a public service announcement for anyone who works at Sportskeeda. We are only talking about this because Allison Allison Tuckwab is send us a huge super chat donation. So we're going to talk about the elephant in the room that people don't want us to talk about. Go ahead, Rick.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that
Yeah.
pitch there, SP3. So Allison sending this in. Did you hear about WWE getting in trouble, legal problems going on behind the curtains? She was listening to Wrestling Inc. earlier, talking about everything that's going down with Vince McMahon and Stephanie stepping in as CEO. Yes, I believe the entire wrestling world heard about everything that dropped today with the Washington.
What are they talking about? I hadn't heard it.
You seriously?
Yeah, Rick, tell me. Come on.
So the Wall Street Journal came out with a new report today. 4 more allegations against the former CEO of WWE, one Vincent Kennedy McMahon, including a $7.5 million payout to a former talent, alleging that there was some sexual favors involved, and this talent was ultimately demoted and released when they would not continue with said sexual favors with Vince McMahon. There's a lot that came out in this Wall Street Journal report today, coming on top of everything that was thrown and the first initial Wall Street Journal report with the alleged affair and the $3 million payments. And now we're up to $15 million paid out to 5 different former employees of WWE, non-disclosure agreements signed. And yeah, man, it's getting more and more serious by the day. And when you have the person who still is the head of creative, and you get these specific kind of, I mean, it goes beyond allegations at this point. I mean, there were non-disclosure agreements signed. So, I mean, there's some admittance that's going on here. When you have the head of creative who is demoting and then releasing talent, when he's not getting sexual favors involved with that, I don't know how the head of creative is able to stick around with those kind of reports out there. That's kind of where I'm at right now with this all coming out. More and more is probably going to be coming out. It's getting harder and harder for me to understand how Vince McMahon can stay involved with the company while all this is going on, at least while the investigation and everything that's going on with the board of directors is going on right now. Anybody else?
What do you think?
Is that it? No, I'm just listening to Rick. And I
Yeah, you all throw me under the bus on this one.
No, Rick did an excellent job of
He
just
did. He
stating
did.
what was in the Wall Street Journal. That's all he had to say.
Yeah, I can't add any more to it. Tell you the truth, but so that was good.
I hate both of you. I absolutely hate
no. All I will say is that I think that this is a subject that is gonna get bigger. We're gonna learn more about this situation before we learn less. And I think that a lot of people will like to excuse Vince McMahon, and the reason that they would like to excuse Vince McMahon is because if you come from a certain generation, Vince McMahon is the father of everything that you've loved and you were brought up on with the WWE. So we 100% can understand if that's your mind state, but you also have to understand the other side of the token of the people that are looking at this from a subjective point of view of these are very serious allegations that should be very serious and should have certain consequences. So I 100% agree with what Rick had to say, that these allegations have some validity to it if it keeps coming out. So we're gonna learn more information, and the reason why I had to say that is because we have another super chat donation here from Allison Tuckwab. I love Allison Tuckwab. I just want to say once again, Sportskeeda management, we are only talking about the super chat donations that we are graciously getting, and the allegations that have been put out there. We're not giving our personal opinions too much, but Allison says Vince McMahon's daughter, Stephanie McMahon, took over on his role because he's in trouble. I'll just say there's a lot of stuff going down. It certainly is. It certainly is. And we kind of all, when we talked about this the last time when the first allegations came out, I said it Rick said it, and even Dutch kind of agreed that this whole thing with Stephanie being the interim CEO and chairwoman was basically a cosmetic move because she's a figurehead, basically. But with more allegations coming out, I said it before, I'll say it again. I think that interim role is going to become the permanent role because that's probably going to be the best move for the company overall.
We'll see if he continues.
What Sid said.
We'll see if he continues to have any kind of role in WWE moving forward.
Keep those super chats coming if you want us to talk about that more, or the show, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, let's stick to the top of the hour.
I'm
here.
not talking to somebody that sends a contribution. I'm not talking. Let's see how long it takes to come in. Like, there it is. See there? What did it say? Oh,
Let's go to the top of the hour here. Liv Morgan gets interviewed by Michael Cole. Kind of a continuation of what she did on Monday Night Raw this week. I just love seeing Liv Morgan happy as hell. She got the "You Deserve a Chance." Very emotional. Told her story.
okay. So you noticed Michael Cole in the ring with her.
Yes.
You know why he was there? Because he has to lead her. He has to lead her. Because if she's standing there, she's freaked out. She's never really done it before. And I kind of like an announcer in the ring. I just don't like two guys going head to head and they're going to kill each other and nothing between them but air. They can walk through that real easy. So, but I do like an announcer in there. And she did a good interview. She did. She's a pretty girl. People like her. Except for Rick. He don't like her too much.
Jesus Christ.
Why don't you like her, Rick?
I love Liv Morgan. I have been a big Liv Morgan fan for a very, very, very long time, and I'm very happy that she won. I love seeing her this happy. On Monday made me so happy when she just lost like all emotion and she was jumping up and down in the middle of the ring and just cheering with the crowd and everything like that. This was kind of a continuation of that, and that's great. It's kind of like a celebration week. Everything's fine. They set stuff up between her and Ronda, and that match has been made official. So now she's going to defend the title at SummerSlam against Ronda Rousey one-on-one. One thing that I did notice a lot, because they were laying it on pretty thick there, SP3, they were putting a big old asterisk next to Liv Morgan's win, talking about the only reason she won is because of Natalya and Ronda Rousey's knee and this, that, and the other thing. One, completely ignoring the fact that Liv Morgan was in a 16-minute ladder match just 2 hours ago, so I'm sure she was also hurting, all right? And number two, who gives a shit? It's Money in the Bank.
Yeah, but why would they even bring that up? That takes away from her win.
Yes.
I mean, it almost negates her win, saying she fluked it out. This is when you start pouring the accolades on. She'd already had a match. She's tired. She goes in the ring against a woman like Ronda Rousey and still has the wherewithal, I think is the word. And she hooked her and pinned her 1, 2, 3. And they should have been pouring on the praise for that girl. But they didn't. I don't know why they do that.
Well, no, they did. They gave her plenty of praise about how hard she's worked over the last 8 years and all that stuff. That's what they talked about on Monday. That's what they talked about tonight. But there was the big but. It's like, oh, she's great. She's done all this hard work. But if it wasn't for Natalya, but if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey's knee, but. It's like they're almost like giving an excuse for why they put the title on Liv Morgan. Just stop at she fucking earned it. Pardon my French. Just stop there. That's all you really needed to do, which makes me worry if we're going to travel right down the same road that we did with Nikki ASH last year, SP3. And what Nikki ASH wins Money in the Bank, she wins the title, and then what I thought was going to be a story of her now proving that she deserves the championship and culminating with a big win at SummerSlam ended up with, oh no, it was actually a fluke. She didn't earn the championship. It was bigger than whatever, and now she's chasing the 24/7 title a year later. I don't want Liv Morgan to go down that same road. I want this to be, hey, we're making somebody here, not, oh, here's a nice little you deserve it for all the hard work that you've done, and then a month from now you're going to drop it to Ronda Rousey again and you're going to be right back to where you were. I don't want that to happen. Tonight is already kind of an indication that they're heading down that road.
Oh, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But see,
yeah.
again, what kind of who are the heels in the women's division?
Natty, Shayna.
Yeah, but Natty, they've done so much with her, but she can still get heat. Natty get heat just looking at you. But I don't know. I don't see a big bad heel in there anywhere.
This is why it made no sense for Ronda Rousey to tell Liv Morgan, "You deserve it." She took the cheap way to beat her for the SmackDown Women's Championship. If for everything that they said with the butts, if it came from Ronda Rousey, this would have came off even better.
But I was watching Ronda, and she'd give her a big hug.
Yeah.
So that made her a baby face. Now all they got to do is turn her. Now
Yes,
you may have
exactly.
something. You may have something.
There's one elephant that isn't in the room right now, and that is whenever Charlotte returns. And that's one that actually does make sense for Liv Morgan, because Charlotte is Liv Morgan's white whale. I mean, most of Liv Morgan's evolution has been in her biggest matches up until this point. She hasn't been able to beat Charlotte Flair. So there is that story that you can tell there. Okay, she somehow beats Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam. The rumors were from Ronda's photographers that Ronda wanted to put Liv over and make her at Money in the Bank. Great. Let's say she does the job again at SummerSlam. Now all of a sudden you got a top level baby face with Liv Morgan, who's got a big win over Ronda Rousey. Now where do you go? Well, now you set things up with Charlotte Flair, which is Liv Morgan's white whale. Haven't been able to beat her. But then after that, yeah, I don't know. Except maybe we did get a heel turn tonight. We did get a heel turn, at least an official heel turn. It was like, is she not? Lacey Evans is a heel, and I think this was an obvious direction to go.
They didn't plan for her to be a heel when she started, though.
I don't think so.
They started 100% babyface, and all of a sudden, whoa, let's back up. Let's take it back. And she's a pretty good heel, really. She got over tonight, but I think she could go either way.
She gets reactions. She gets a bigger reaction than Natalya. She gets a bigger reaction than Shayna Baszler. She gets a bigger reaction than Raquel Rodriguez. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, the crowd reacts to her, and they love to boo the hell out of her. And I actually commend WWE for pulling the trigger on this as fast as they did, because she did not get the reactions from the live crowd that they wanted. And they, instead of swimming upstream like they did with Becky and like they did with Ronda, at least a little bit, they decided, screw it. You're getting booed the hell out of the building. You're a heel. Let's be a heel. And I think I made the right call there. At
least they read the room. And they read it correctly. I like when she came out and she said, wait a minute, let's do this again. And then she went back and then come back out again. And then she gets in there. And that was actually a good interview she did, a really good interview. Because she's an American hero. And that's her line. I'm an American hero, and you're booing an American hero. So, but it was, that part was good. SmackDown tonight, I'd have to say it's not the worst SmackDown. It's about in the middle, but some parts were really good. That was good. I enjoyed that. Yeah, what'd you enjoy, Rick? Here it is.
We got a super chat from Roland Curtis. He says, I agree with Dutch. He believes most of the women struggle to cut promos in the middle of the ring. Even Becky Lynch does better promos backstage than in the ring. I guess. I don't know. Dutch, what did you prefer to do? Did you prefer to do feed off the crowd or do backstage? I think most performers would prefer to go with the live audience and get the feel of the crowd there.
Because, like I said, you're reading the room when you're doing it. So if you find something and they respond, you found a spot. If you hit something and they don't respond to it, don't go back to it. Read the room, and it'll work every time. But I think a lot of these girls are afraid because it's written for them, and they're so afraid to get in there and mess it up or forget it, which has happened. I went out there one time with Jack, and I was standing there, and he said, you okay? I said, and I leaned over Jack. I said, I forgot this whole friggin' interview. He said, well, you were talking about it. And I said, oh, okay. Then I just started talking. I never will forget that. I was just lost. I don't know where it went, but it went off in the ether somewhere. But I got it back. So, but yeah, I think those girls, they're really, really nervous because because they've never done it before. Now, Natalya has, so she's pretty good at it. So that's why they put Michael Cole in the ring with the Money in the Bank winner, because she probably was just almost shaking. I can see that. Some of those girls, not the guys so much, but the girls, they get nervous, really, really nervous.
I mean, I think I could pull a couple of guys out who have issues with saying other people's words, and I think that's where a lot of it comes down to it. I think
name somebody.
Ricochet struggles with the script.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of people who just struggle with adapting WWE's dialogue. I mean, look at what they gave Madcap Moss to work with tonight. I mean, dude, they literally told the man to go out there and say, "Hey, I bet you I could fit this entire briefcase in Theory's mouth." Like, that's the some of the dialogue that they give these people is just garbage. And some of the best go out there and take it and make it work, and some of them just can't do it very well.
Yes, but that line had to be read by Vince or whoever was in charge of creative tonight. And if I'd read that line, I said, this line sucks. Give me something better or do something, please. But if it's passed back, it's okay. And okay, that's what and they will tell you Vince okayed this. So what is a talent to do? If Vince okayed it, you got to do it.
I mean, especially if you're a guy like Moss, who is in the midst of his biggest push ever. Like, the last thing you want to do in that situation is make waves, right? So you just got. I mean, it reminds me of Roman Reigns and the whole suffer and succotash thing. Like, you just got to grit your teeth and go out there and do it sometimes.
Well, it is what it is. So, but if you're not there, I mean, none of us are there. So, but I can tell you what it's like back behind that curtain. It's very anxious, very tense, because, if Vince doesn't like it, you could get on the do not book list fairly easily, real quick, just like that. Bam.
Kind of like Aaliyah, who I think just got taken out of her 5th match in like the last 3 months. She was booked in a match and did not compete in said match tonight. That had to have been kind of like a heel, then right back to a baby face for you, Dutch, with Lacey taking out Aaliyah tonight.
Well, that was so she destroyed Aaliyah, right?
Yeah, I gave her the women's right. Yeah.
Good. But my cable, we had a severe thunderstorm, and it just paused on the screen, so I missed that match.
Oh, yeah, there was no match.
Yeah, you didn't.
There was no match.
No match.
Anything.
Okay.
No.
And we got another super chat donation from Allison. Allison, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've been helping out the channel, so they see you. People love us like Allison. Thank you.
That's right. Allison, thank you very much.
Go ahead, Rick.
That's from me. Rick won't say anything.
So
he's like that.
Pat McAfee was doing, I don't know if it was a charity thing but it was definitely a televised golf match with Aaron Rodgers and AJ Hawk today in conjunction with his radio show. So he was in another part of the town. So basically they wrote him off due to injury, but then brought up the fact that he was playing golf because he got attacked at Money in the Bank by Baron Corbin. So that's where Pat McAfee was. That's why we had who we had on commentary tonight. I forgot his name, Corey Graves. And hopefully Pat McAfee will be back. It's late. It was a brain fart. Whatever. It is what it is. So the Usos squashed Los Lotharios tonight, then got accused of cheating, even though they didn't cheat. It was a ref botch. I'm glad they brought that up. Again, WWE dialogue being what it was. It wasn't cheating. The ref screwed up. And now there are rumors of a special guest referee. Dutch, can you confirm or deny that you will be that special guest referee at SummerSlam when the Usos take on the Street Profits again for the
brother? Don't tell everything you know. They listen to our show.
I know.
Okay, then when they come back on me and they say, why did you tell that damn radio wannabe announcer guy about that? And I said, I didn't really tell him. And they said, you're lying. And they get real mad at me. So, but I may be the referee. I just want to drop that news right here. You heard it first, folks, right here on Sportskeeda. So,
Love
Boom.
it. SP3, who do you
think's
think
gonna
will
be there?
actually be?
I don't know.
Well,
I have no idea.
I think it's going to be Paul Heyman. That's what I say. Paul Heyman for special guest referee.
He's going to use what did they say? More of his influence to get involved in this. Yeah.
Or Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn's a good call. Sami Zayn's a really good call, especially since he doesn't have anything to do now that he's not Mr. Money in the Bank, which they totally should have done.
Yes, Rick, what was your response to your prophecy being unfulfilled?
The second that Theory came out to start that match, when they completely and totally telegraphed the fact that he was winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, I wanted to just chuck my remote control into my TV screen. That's pretty much where I was at. Seth Rollins would have been a much better choice. It's not that I hate Theory. Yes,
no, he wouldn't have. No, he
Yes,
wouldn't have. I'm
It's
sorry.
not that I hate
No, he
Theory.
wouldn't have.
I think it's just a
Riddle was the right choice. Riddle was the star of that match. Seth Rollins basically did nothing in that match other than take the RKO.
I think Theory, in a year from now, then you can see this was the right move. Because he is the heir apparent. He's got the talent. He can get heat because you want to slap the crap out of him anyway. I mean, just a fan because the way he acts. So he has that Kurt Angle type heat about him, and he may be able to get it. So I'm not going to write him off. They don't need Rollins because he's already made. I mean, this would just be something that they can use on somebody else. I'm glad they used it on Theory. I think Sami Zayn would have been a waste because of the way they've used him, but they've used Theory pretty well. So it kind of makes sense if you can make sense out of wrestling. But I think that was not a bad choice.
We'll
agree.
We'll agree to disagree. You, my boy Blue, with the super chat. We appreciate that. When are we going to see Rick and Dutch on True Heel Heat again? I would never have known about Sportskeeda had I not seen them there. That's the beauty of cross promotion. Cross promotion is such a great thing. You let other outlets know about other outlets, and they can check talent out if they're on different channels. I believe that is a really great way to go about things. But SP3, that's your channel. You tell me when's the next time Dutch and myself are going to be on there.
I believe you are absolutely right, Rick. And I'll put down the gauntlet right here to you both. I believe the best time to have you both on, if you're free, July 30th, Saturday, July 30th, the same day as SummerSlam, our pre-SummerSlam True Heel Heat, Dutch and Rick, both of you on the show at the same time. What do y'all think?
I can pull that off. I will be in Nashville. I think I can pull that off.
What about you? You gonna check your busy schedule, Dutch?
Oh, he's grooming his mustache that day.
Do you want me on the show, Mr. Sid?
Yes, of course.
What time in the morning is it? Saturday?
Yes, Saturdays at 11:05 a.m.
Oh God! If it had been 12, it'd been great. You missed it by 1 hour.
Oh man!
No, I'll be on your show.
There we go. Now we just had a
production
meeting for True Heel Heat here. As we have a minute left at our time, and we haven't even gotten to the main event of the first show of the night.
To be fair, we've been going over that 45-minute thing. We did it the first week.
On the dot. We're gonna get so many notes from production today. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna love waking up in the morning to the notes we're gonna get. Anywho, so they hey, y'all remember when they fed us a bunch of BS about Sasha Banks and Naomi and how we should be disappointed in them that they couldn't give us a main event that they had advertised? Well, SmackDown tonight advertised a main event that we didn't get because Sheamus faked COVID. Drew McIntyre,
Can I just say, I thought that was wild. I was like, wait, what? We're really doing that now?
That's where we
Like,
are.
it's okay to do that now?
It's
Has
not.
it been long?
No,
What?
it's not. Not okay to do that. No, but they did it anyway.
So what was his reason? By this time, my TV has got just thunderstorm is. So what happened?
So this was supposed to be a main event to determine the number one contender at Clash of the Castle, which means we were doing a number one contenders match in July for a match that's not until September. But anyway, so we were supposed to have this match. Sheamus, Drew McIntyre. Sheamus gets on the mic, cuts a promo about how he's going to kick Drew McIntyre's ass, and then he starts fake coughing. And he's like, oh, wait a minute. I might have the old COVID. I can't compete until I get tested. And then he proceeds to stand on the side of the ring for the rest of the match. That was all of 2 minutes long because he threw Butch in there. And Drew McIntyre versus Pete Dunne should have been a hell of a main event that lasted 10 to 12 minutes. Instead, Drew McIntyre squashes Scrappy Doo, and then they fart around for 5 minutes to close out the show. And then Drew does that thing where he cuts the top rope with the sword there. That's how they decided to close SmackDown tonight.
So no match between him and Sheamus at all.
No, because Sheamus may have had ye old COVID. Yep. That's what happened tonight. That's definitely what happened.
I've never heard of that, but there's a first time for everything.
I think that's the new variant, ye old.
And
Yield
they didn't
COVID.
And apparently it wasn't even for the number one contendership for Clash at the Castle. They said at the end that, we still got to get that match for the number one contendership. So they promoted a main event with high stakes. They didn't give us the match. Neither did they give us the stipulation. Hopefully this match happens at SummerSlam. At least put it on a big stage since you denied us of it on this show. But yeah, I didn't even think what Rick said at the beginning of this, that they made such a big deal about Sasha and Naomi walking out, not delivering on a main event. And then the same week that they removed from the internal roster, you promoted a main event the whole show since 4 o'clock this afternoon.
And they were both there.
And they were both there.
Nope. Can't do it. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And we ain't got enough time. 3 minutes left. I got COVID. Let me go. Let me get out of here.
But we should be so disappointed in Sasha and Naomi.
Oh.
Never mind, by the way, it was also WWE that advertised Sasha Banks for a match at last year's SummerSlam until the very minute that it happened and said, oh, no, sorry, she's not here. Here's Carmella, everybody. Yeah, anywho. I agree with what Joseph said here, by the way. They messed up because Butch was actually kind of getting over. They didn't do him any favors tonight by having him get his ass kicked by Drew McIntyre in 2 minutes.
Butch was getting over. Hey, let me ask you, is Sasha Banks, is she going to AEW or no?
We don't even know if she's still with WWE.
Well, I read that she had somewhere. I think I wrote it down, then I read it back to myself. I don't know. So
there's so many conflicting reports about whether or not she's been released, if they're working on getting released. Now WWE is trying to make amends. I don't know. Until we get an official word from one party or the other, I think it's all speculation and hearsay at this point.
Basically, the latest reports is that PW Insider and Fightful both confirmed that they are off the internal roster backstage, but they're still on the website roster page. So that's why it's still this muddy ground still at this point.
Yeah, that I don't know. Dutch, how does that internal roster thing work? That's just a list of like who's active and ready to go on the show. So you could be taken off of that if you're on the, disabled list or something like that, right?
Well, you can. But but when I was there, everybody came. Everybody that was booked on Raw would show up at Raw. Everybody that was, and they ran consecutive nights, Mondays and Tuesdays. So when they brought you in for Monday, you'd stay for everybody. Everybody would stay for SmackDown. So I don't know if they had an internal roster or not. I'm sure they did, but that's why I think the shows were better back then. They had more talent and they could juggle it better. But here, and we've complained about this for months and months and months. It's the same people every week doing the same thing, even almost the same interviews. Tonight surprised me because they had this match that they didn't have when both of them were out there. I don't know how you can top that. The two guys on screen, well, I got COVID. I can't do it. I've never heard that before in my life. But
so that was SmackDown tonight. We have an entire other show we can talk about here, SP3. I know Dutch said he missed a lot of it because his TV was going in and out.
I saw the first one. I saw the first match.
Good, because I loved it. I loved Eddie Kingston and Takeshita tonight. That was hard hitting. I loved Kingston literally falling into the victory. This was a win that he desperately needed because obviously they were setting him up for a big match with Chris Jericho in 2 weeks, Fyter Fest night 2. Not only are we getting an exploding barbed wire death match, but there's going to be a shark cage involved. I mean, there is all sorts of craziness that's going to be going down. I loved Kingston's promo after this match as well. That line about the last drop of blood is going to be from my Ruby after she got her hand slammed into a car door this week. How can you not love Eddie Kingston and the work that he's been putting in lately?
One of the most believable guys in all of professional wrestling. And like you said, I absolutely loved this opening matchup. It was hard hitting. It was physically intense. And it got over. One of my key things with these type of matches, especially if the more the veteran guy is going over on the younger guy, is make them look strong and let them get over in defeat. And that's what they did for Takeshita. Takeshita has, honestly, he's a guy that I think they need to sign. I know that this is probably just an excursion for him. He is a roster member for DDT. I think that he's just getting experience here in the U.S. with AEW. He's been working multiple different independent promotions. He just had a great match with Daniel Garcia at PWG. He had an independent match of the year against Speedball Mike Bailey. But this guy, every single time he's in an AEW ring, it doesn't matter if it was last week's Royal Rampage, whether it was the match with Hangman Adam Page, the match we saw here on Rampage tonight, the match before with Jay Lethal that we saw on Rampage, Takeshita has consistently been one of the most over guys to this audience and always gives us really good matches. So they need to sign him. They need to change those plans, sign him up, and make him stay in the United States because this guy always delivers, and it was a really great match to open the show. And really, I mean, they bookend the match, this show with, a banger in the first match and then a really fun main event. And then everything else about this is what Dutch would call a maintenance show. This was just about setting things up for Dynamite, next week's Rampage, or the ROH pay-per-view on this show. But when you bookend your show like that, it comes off much better.
Yeah,
the match was a hard-hitting match. But what I liked about it, at the finish, both guys sold it.
Yeah.
Both of them stayed down because, that Kingston was lighting that kid up with those chops. So, and the people that can hear that. So when you can hear it, well, he's not working with it. He's not pulling it. And when they were both down, they went about 18 minutes. That's about normal for AEW, a long first match, which is, it's what you want. You want to hook them in, and then the rest of the show follows that. That's why I'm a strong believer in an hour show. Just the 2 hours with SmackDown. I'm back to SmackDown for a second, but most of that is entrances and interviews. The wrestling is minimal, but we mentioned they don't care if it's minimal or not. They made more money last year during the pandemic than they've ever made. So they learned from that, I guess. They don't have to do it.
That opening segment with the Bloodline, by the way, was 2 minutes longer than this match. I agree wholeheartedly with you, SP3. I love Takeshita. I didn't think it was possible to find anybody who moves quicker and smoother in a ring than Darby Allin, but Takeshita does. He is just so damn fast and so damn smooth, and he makes everything look crisp and clean. Yeah, sign this kid up immediately. And that exploding barbed wire death match is gonna be nuts in 2 weeks.
I think it's just a barbed wire death match. It's
There's
not
no explosion.
Exploding.
There's no explosion.
I think they learned their lesson.
They had a bad experience with that, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
So they
involving Eddie Kingston. Yeah, they made Eddie Kingston look dumb.
But like you said, Rick, that promo that just got me. Like, I know there was a lot of people that were complaining because I do agree blood and guts should be the blow off of a feud. It shouldn't be the second chapter or chapter 3 of a 4-part chapter, which it is in this feud. But the way they finished blood and guts, I think you could have assumed that we were going to get one more match between Eddie and Chris Jericho. And I love them just throwing Jericho Appreciation Society in a shark cage because it's Shark Week. Just do that. Like,
yeah. I mean, and that's one of Jericho's staples. It's like he always, like, I'll never forget the match that he was in where he was in the shark cage, but he was afraid of heights. And he was, it was
Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens,
yes.
No holds barred at Royal Rumble 2017. Yes,
absolutely. So that's one of his staples. It's nice that they can kind of bring that back. I do agree with you about the middle of the show. We got a nice little promo there. I do like the pairing of Chris Statlander and Athena. I'm waiting for them to one of them to actually get booked in a match with Jade Cargill. I feel like that's being drug on here a little bit. Was hoping maybe something would get booked for Wednesday or the following Wednesday, but it hasn't happened yet. Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez work great together, obviously, but they hate each other. Serena attacks Mercedes after that match. She's going after the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. So again, setting stuff up. And then
when you guys I didn't see this stuff.
Yeah.
And the way you guys are telling me, you have to be a watcher of this show for it to even make any sense. The Ring of Honor is entering into it. And all this other stuff is entering into it. So if you didn't watch it, which I didn't, I have no idea where it's going.
Yeah, basically.
And I mentioned that if he's trying to book 4 shows, I don't know how long he can do that. I mean, he can do it till he goes. He has to have help. But these shows are overlapping anyway, so maybe he can. I heard he was a genius anyway. Tony Khan.
This is another opportunity for Dutch to get a check. Tony, hire Dutch because you need help. He's trying to juggle way too much at this point, in my opinion. You got all these storylines. He's trying to book 3 hours of television for AEW. At the same time, he tried to do a AEW New Japan co-promotion show. Now he's trying to build to a Ring of Honor show, which is his secondary brand on top of AEW. He's doing way too much. Like, you got William Regal there. You got Dean Malenko. You got all these great minds. Use them to book one of these things for you, or at least to help you. Like, I feel like he's doing
maybe
way
they
too
are.
much.
Maybe some of these guys are helping them. They're just
they gotta help. They gotta help.
I mean, it'd be stupid not to ask for the help with those guys.
Well, I think Jericho has control over what he does. And probably some guys have.
And the Young Bucks.
And I think Bryan Danielson, I think he has control. Punk. But as long as they'll work within the system and they're not hotheads and demand stuff out of Tony, he's in good hands. But still, when he sits down, he's looking at these papers all the time. You get that burnout, and they just you're not even reading what you're booking. And I've been there with one show. I've been there with one show.
Trust me, I know all about burnout. SP3, they did set up 2 Ring of Honor world title matches with the middle of this show tonight. Jonathan Gresham and Lee Moriarty. Well, your thoughts real quick here on Jonathan Gresham now joining Tully Blanchard and everything that he's building up over there.
I've never seen a move where I was both baffled and intrigued. I was just like, I was very baffled by this because I was like, no, Jonathan Gresham, like he's about, the honor and he's about being the best technical wrestler. So why would he not be honorable, just be dishonorable and leave Lee Moriarty, laying and stuff? But I liked his excuse, saying that he signed with AEW back in March for ROH and he's been sitting at home this entire time until Tully Blanchard basically gave him a way to, be more known and be more out there. And at the end of the day, I think this is just Tony Khan being like, Jonathan Gresham, I don't think you're a great talker, so I'm putting you with Tully Blanchard. That's what I got across from all of this. I think that was why he made this decision. He feels like Tully Blanchard would be a good talker for Jonathan Gresham. And I've watched ROH, and Jonathan Gresham was a better heel than he was a babyface, even though his style kind of leans to be in the, the workhorse babyface. He can be aggressive and be grinded out, similar to what Bryan Danielson was in 2006 when he was ROH World Champion. So like I said, it made me intrigued of what's next and how they're going to build off of this, but I was very much baffled by the decision as well.
Let me ask you a question, guys. Jake the Snake, where did he go? He's still with them, right? AEW?
Yeah.
So they just don't use him that much?
He's still managing Lance Archer, right?
And when's the last time we saw him? 3 or 4 weeks ago? Maybe.
I think at least a couple of months. I think he was sick for a period of time. I don't know if he's still sick and they haven't bring him back yet, but I knew that was the reason why he was off of television initially, because he was not feeling too well.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, they don't really heavily feature Lance Archer unless they need like this unstoppable monster to come in and lose to somebody. So that's pretty much how they book Lance Archer. Real quick here, SP3. I love the main event tonight. Orange Cassidy, Tony Nese. I thought those two dudes tore it down. And honestly, one of my favorite finishes. You get Smart Mark Sterling going in there trying to take out Orange Cassidy. And then my boy Danhausen, attorney at law, just comes in there and just punches him right in the pills. And yeah, that allows Orange Cassidy to pick up the win tonight. This was just really, really fun. I thought Danhausen was kind of stole the show there a little bit because he's just so damn charismatic and everybody loves him. But yeah, I like this pairing. I kind of wish Hookhausen was still more of a thing, but I like the pairing with the best friends and Danhausen as well.
Yeah, I think this was the original idea that they wanted to do with Danhausen. I think that the Hookhausen was just something that I think they wanted to do a match between the two, but then they had this instant chemistry that the fans got behind, so they decided to just run with it. But I think that this is the original idea. They wanted Danhausen to be with the best friends, and it works. You saw the reaction. This crowd was pretty much dead for the middle of the show, and they got up for Danhausen.
If Danhausen was invented by WWE Creative, I don't want to be too harsh here, he'd already be dead. He would already be dead. That was a gimmick that kid invented.
Yes.
He does it well, does it great. He knows how to do it. If Creative knows what they're doing, they just lead him the path and say, you tell me what you need to say here. Because he knows. Because I think that's one of the best gimmicks I've seen in a long, long time. Because it kind of books itself. The people like it. You can't mess with it. And if you want to get heat on the heel, beat up little Danhausen and card him out. People be hot. They'll be mad. Especially the kids. When the kids come, the parents got to bring them.
He's basically like a Simpsons Carney character come to life. It's ridiculous. And, and he's pulled his inspiration from different horror movies and things like The Simpsons and all that kind of stuff. And he's melded it into this really special character. And that's why AEW is the perfect place for him, because they just let him flourish. If he had gotten this, he got this massively over in Ring of Honor and out on the independents. And he was, wildly popular, so much so that he caught the attention of Tony Khan. Absolutely right, Dutch. Had they brought him in, they would have said, you've done a great job of getting yourself over. Now here's a new name, a new persona, and everything that you were is gone. And that's just what they do.
That's what they do.
Congratulations for getting yourself over and getting noticed. Now you're no longer Tyler Black, you're Seth Rollins. And go.
See, I'm a strong believer in letting the guys that have developed their own character, let them do their character. Don't change them. Because when you change them, they don't know what you're doing, especially young talent. They can't adjust to it. But you take Danhausen, if they put him in something else, he's another dead on arrival. I'd put Danhausen with Maximum Male Models. That's what I'd do.
I would. I think he'd sell the shit out of that.
I think he would help it.
Yes.
He couldn't hurt it. That's for damn sure.
He'd get that over. They'd all be baby faces. Danhausen would get that entire group over.
Absolutely. I think he would.
Man,
You heard it. You heard it here first, folks.
That's like a money feud. Maximum Male Models versus Danhausen and Orange Cassidy. Imagine Orange Cassidy coming out instead of Mansoir or Mache, and he just
TK. Forbidden Door 2. Forbidden Door 2. We got the match. Let's go.
What you're talking about now is how angles are developed in cars, not with this creative, but with the wrestlers. I got an idea. And he tells another wrestler, he's got an idea. And by the time they get to the town, they kind of got it mapped out.
Yeah.
Then they give it to creative, and then the creative just kills it. So
they basically wipe their butt with it. All right, we are way over on. Yeah, go ahead, SP3.
Thanks to you, Rick. We're over.
No, I was gonna say Orange Cassidy is the example of what I say with like when I talked about Takeshita getting over in a loss. Orange Cassidy lost to Will Ospreay in a fantastic match, one of my favorite matches of the year, and he is literally in a better position than when he got injured in March now because he had that great match and he looked so good in it. I think that he's now back where he was when he was feuding with Chris Jericho back in 2020 now in this position. So I love the fact he's got his old song back. He's got the fans behind him. They're giving him wins. Hopefully this pays off and they eventually give him a title, because I feel like that's the ultimate payoff for this character that never should have been as over as he is in this company.
Well, it backs up what I just said. He invented that, right? This kid invented Orange Cassidy. And when I first saw it, I said, what the? But then he started working. Hey, that kid can go, but he wants to work. When he gets out of the kick mode, and he can go. And I really appreciate a guy that can make that gimmick and make it work. And little Danhausen, who can create that gimmick and make it work. And then Tony Khan for letting them do it and not trying to change them. The old saying is, don't fix it if it's not broke.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he did. So I enjoy those guys a lot. I'd rather watch that than watch all this other crap.
Are you saying, Dutch, that your juices have not properly been titillated? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, I don't know. I was getting a little moist right then when I was talking.
Oh, God, I hate that word. God, I hate that word. We got one more.
Do you hate the word moist?
Oh, I will mute you. I am.
Oh, really? Seriously.
So we got one more super chat here. We got one more super chat here from Roland Curtis. Sorry, I know we're way over on time management. Sheamus's facetiousness might have been WWE political commentary on COVID. Maybe, but I think that was more of just more of a joke that just wasn't kosher, shall we say. Lacey was very believable tonight, and he predicts that Lacey will beat Liv on her first try. Dutch, I'll unmute you now. I actually agree with that.
You muted me.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So, all right. So I actually believe that Liv will lose to Lacey. I think that would actually make a ton of sense. And I know Dutch is a big Lacey Evans fan. He talked about Lacey winning Money in the Bank and making a ton of sense cashing in on Charlotte. If they had Liv beat Ronda and then beat Charlotte, and then Lacey comes around on the back end as the third heel she faces and wins somewhere around Survivor Series, I don't think I could ask for more than that out of a Liv Morgan title run in her first time. What do you think, Dutch?
No, it'd be a great turn. You get the matches you want, and then all of a sudden you sneak Lacey in the back door. Because I think the girl will be over by the time this happens. I like that girl. You know, I thought that Rodriguez girl, she had more, but she's still green, isn't she? That girl.
I think she's just at a disadvantage because the main roster audience isn't as invested in her as the NXT audience was. Mm-hmm. I think they got to give her something. They got to give her something to do. She has not had a story since she's been up. She kicked Ronda's ass, and that's it. That's great.
I'm sorry, I kind of agree with Dutch. She did come off kind of green in that Money in the Bank match. Like, they gave her one key spot, and that was lift the ladder with Becky and Shotzi on top of it, and she couldn't do it. She just couldn't do it. And I know they practiced that, and she couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
She was also told basically just sit in the corner for the rest of the match. That whole match was produced weird. I know there are the critics of the match, and they love to blame the talent. I don't like how that match was necessarily set up, and we don't have a whole lot of time to get into it because we're way over. We appreciate all the super.
Let's go. I'll see you guys. I'm out of
here.
here.
All right, Dutch. For one more time, I'm going to mute you there. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in today. Everybody who threw in the super chats. Appreciate SP3. I appreciate Dutch. Dutch, I'll unmute you now. You're good.
Oh, I can see a sign now. I'm blind as hell. Just the host has unmuted you. Oh, and this is recorded.
All right, so that'll wrap up the show here tonight here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook channels. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this all hour and 10 minutes in this 45-minute show. Dutch, any final words you want to say? I've actually unmuted you.
You have not. You liar. Just a damn liar.
Enjoy your weekend, guys. We'll be back next week.
See you, man.